Hey guys, it's me, Christina Marie. Welcome back to my channel. I am doing a foundation tutorial. I'm doing a powder foundation tutorial today on this NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. This is in the color neutral. I got this at, not Sephora, what's the other store? Ulta. And it's just a few dollars. So I opened it up and I tested the feel of the powder. The feel of the powder is actually very, very soft and very, very smooth, as you can see right here. But it is very, very loose. Look at this. So like when I touch it, you can actually see, I don't know if you guys can see that, the fallout. This is like an extremely, extremely loose powder, very fine milled loose powder. But I did want to try it for you guys to see if it actually is good, if it's full coverage or not. The back of the box says it's mineral enriched, talc free, oil free, water resistant, sweat resistant. It feels like silk on the skin. To apply, apply as is for full coverage. Apply with a wet sponge for heavy duty. So you got full coverage or super duper full coverage. So let's try this out. There is a sponge in the back in this little slot right here. So I pulled out the applicator. I'm going to go ahead and rub it on my face. I hope you guys can see. Look, let me zoom in. I'm going to zoom in anyway, so maybe I'll zoom in and you guys can see how loose this powder is. Look at this. Can you see how loose that is? Check that out. Just by rubbing it like that, look how loose it is. Okay, so I'm actually going to apply this to half of my face and see if there's a big difference. When I zoomed in like that, you can see the redness in my skin. I have 2 blemishes right here. Oh, wow. Okay, so I do have, I did want to tell you guys, I do have a light moisturizer on my skin and a primer. Oh, look at that. That's lovely. Okay, guys, so this is applied to half of my face. What do you think? Like, I think I'm looking in the mirror here, and I think the coverage looks good. I would not say this is a full coverage. I did apply. I did have to dip many times and then apply. And it does have a very, very silky feel to it. It looks really lovely. But it is totally not a full coverage. It took away all my redness and stuff, but I can still see the imperfections in my skin here. It does look lovely. I would say it's a medium coverage, not a light, but not a full. So it's a medium coverage because you can still see the imperfections. I think it looks natural. I'm going to go ahead and wet this sponge and see what it looks like on the other side of the face with it wet. Okay, so how I'm going to wet my sponge is I'm going to take this Aqua Mist by e.l.f. because this sucker sprays a ton of liquid. You guys can see how much it's... That's how much it sprays, that it just leaked everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and apply to the other side of my face. Let's see if it actually becomes full coverage like it says. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so I wet it, and you see that? It's like it's becoming like a liquid. Yeah, it's like becoming a liquid form. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, well, the liquid is a little bit hard. I don't see anything. And the liquid or not liquid, it didn't really... Yes, apply with wet sponge for heavy duty coverage. That's what it says. Okay, where's my heavy duty coverage? Maybe you have to push it in more? Where's the coverage? With the sponge. Okay, let's try this again. Apply for heavy duty coverage. What the heck? This is horrible. Look at this. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. This is horrible. You guys see what it did here? How it just like soaked into my pores but didn't go anywhere else? Look at this. Oh, there we got a little product, but look. Oh my gosh, it just, and I have professionals on, so all my pores are filled in, but look at that, how it just emphasized on my pores. Okay guys, I am totally not going to apply this with the damp sponge because that was horrible. I mean, I don't have any coverage and it looks like it just soaked into my pores. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with just a brush, a powder brush. It obviously gets very, very loose, even 1,000 times. Look at this. See that? Even 1,000 times more loose when you use a brush like this. But let's see. Okay, so with the brush, it just really goes on like a very, very loose powder. Do up here in the forehead. It doesn't really give coverage with a brush at all. Look at that. So I'm doing it right next to that other line. And I still see the line. Let's do it on the nose because my nose is the most red. So I did it right on my nose. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but yeah, it didn't really give me much coverage. If you put it on with a brush like this, it looks like a very, very light, just like a light powder with a little bit of pigment. But so do not wet this like it says, and do apply it with this sponge. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's try it with my beauty blender. This is not damp, by the way. Yeah, it's not completely 1,000. It's like maybe 1% wet because it has a little bit more squishy to it. But let's go ahead and apply it with my beauty blender to the other side of the face and see if we can get something going on here. Oh, wow. Okay. OMG, girls. Look at that. OMG, girls. This freaking amazing. Like, the coverage is amazing. But I don't know, it's so weird. Maybe it's the texture. The applicator it came with totally sucks. Get your own beauty blender and apply it. I actually have full coverage on this side of my face. Actually, you know what? It is a full coverage powder foundation. But if you really look deep, if you really get close up to me, you can see minor little imperfections that come through. But this applied, I mean, it applied better on this side of the face than it did on this side of the face. Because look at this. There's no redness, and there's redness right here within my cheek. Look, let me just show you. So all I did was swirl it around, and look at how much product comes out. And this redness that you see in my cheek, look at that. And I love that with this powder that you can actually bounce. Look at that. Wow. I think with this powder, though, it would have been better to use a different primer. Honestly, I think that I should have used, I don't think it mixed so well with my primer on my nose, which was the Professional, because I did have to remove it from my nose and then reapply it because it looked like it adhered a little bit more chunky, I guess you could say. So once I did that and I took off the primer off my nose, I just patted this on, and look at that. Like, the coverage is amazing. Okay guys, so I am going to go ahead and set my makeup, and let's see how this looks once I've set it. I'm still very mattified. I do notice that in those parts that I had a little bit more primer on, that it is collecting together. So hopefully this will melt it into the skin. I'm gonna just use a setting spray. This is the Rainforest of the Sea by Tarte. This stuff smells so good. I love how this smells. Has like a citrusy smell to it. So we're gonna go ahead and let this settle in. And I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in, and let's take a closer look. Okay, let me show you my forehead. You see the coverage there, but the problem is, look, so it's beautiful. But the problem is my nose. If I look closely at my nose, it looks like it collected within my pores right here, that it wasn't as much coverage, and then it collected under my nose right here. It collected. I love the fact that it went on heavy coverage with my own beauty blender. The only problem that I have with it is the way that it applied in my nose area and under my lip here. Now, I'm not certain if it's because the Professionals, the the primer interfered with it. But typically that primer doesn't interfere with many of my foundations, but I'm not saying it's not possible. So I'm a little torn on whether I like this. I loved the coverage that it gave everywhere else. I hate that little problem that it had within the center. I hope you guys give my tutorial a thumbs up and tell me if you guys like that I do these powder foundations. My absolute favorite, honestly, still to this day, would be Palladio by Palladio brand. It's a very similar compact like this that is at Sally's Beauty Supply store. But this was pretty good. Hopefully it doesn't do that again in my center. But yeah, if you could subscribe and give this a thumbs up. I am Christina Marie. I'm out. Bye.